It's Thursday, the 27th day of February 2025. It's To The Point. I'm your host, GT. And with me this morning, we have, of course, members of the Criminal Investigation Department, all part of the RGBF. We do host them on a Thursday. With us this morning, we have, of course, Sergeant Jackasel with us this morning, and also Corporal Antoine, both representing the Criminal Investigation Department. And our conversation was certainly based on serious crimes and offences. And it's a serious one of those, topics that we will spend a bit of time talking about it. There's always some reason of concern when, serious crime is at a level that we're not too happy about in Grenada. Right. And sometimes it gets to a level that we are just not happy about. And we want to find out ways in which the RGPF maybe could put up curve.
Yes.
What are some of the challenges that you pose that with dealing with crimes of that nature? We're even going to talk about some of the success stories, because there has been a lot of success stories, a whole lot of that. We're going to talk about that this morning. We're going to offer, of course, ways in which, or tips to prevent. We're going to talk to individuals who may be possessing the thoughts.
Yes.
You want to possess the thoughts, and something here today could probably trigger in a different direction, make you don't want to do these things anymore for free. I always see one of the best ways is conflict resolutions.
Yes.
Sometimes, depending on the nature of what you want to get yourself involved in, just a different thought, just a couple seconds can make you do something different.
Yes,
that could be a positive for other people and for yourself, and you don't get yourself in, as we will say locally, get yourself into trouble.
Yes.
You understand?
Yes.
So good morning once again, gentlemen. And welcome.
Thank you. Good morning.
I should say happy New Year, happy Independence, everything.
Yes.
All right.
Yes, I'm happy to be here. Good morning to you, sir, and good morning to the listening public.
Yes, good morning to the listening public at home and abroad. Most happy to be here.
All right. I like to go by simple GT. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I could do something. It's make me feel like.
Okay. All right, no problem.
Anyway, let's get into the conversation this morning. Serious crimes, or sometimes this could be described as one of those plagues, if I could describe it in that way.
Yes.
That you wish could go away and never return. And being a small island as Grenada as we are, we thinking that, hey, what could we do as the police, you could say in that way, that we could get a downward curve to this. Downward curve in terms of, it may not be totally eliminated. I don't think there's any country in the world will be able to alleviate it, but somehow,
but not eradicated.
Not eradicated totally. But it's at a stage where it's not worrisome.
Right.
We're not worried about it. Somebody's going to always try to do something that is just out of the ordinary.
Yes.
Now, talk to me. The state of crime in Grenada today that is of concern to the RGPF. Let's hear from you. I'm not who want to take the mantle in talking about that.
Yes. So presently, the current state of affairs, we have the emerging trend of the firearm offences.
Yeah.
In particular. All right. This is more or less one of the main challenges for the past few years. Of course, this would have been one of the first times in the recent history that we have so many of the shootings, in particular. All right, but definitely we are taking steps to try to alleviate those situations. All right. First of all, I just want to say, what is a crime? Persons might be wondering, what exactly is a crime?
Yeah.
Just want to simply put that a crime is any breach of law for which a penalty is attached. All right. In Grenada, we have the Criminal Code, we have the Drug Act, Firearms Act, and other pieces of law. When you read some of these laws, you would see that there's a penalty section or a penal clause, in various acts.
Yeah.
All right. Even, for example, even on, let's say, the Education Act, for example, parents could be charged for neglecting to send their children to school. I'll just put it like that, right? Okay. But there are various laws within the state of Grenada, and many of these laws have penal clauses, and the crime would be committed once you breach, that section of the law. Right?
Okay. Let's talk about in a small island as Grenada. What are the most serious crimes that we see going around? You did speak of a while ago. You spoke about the gun related crimes that we see. What are some of the other crime that is mere concern to the RGPF that we would like to talk about this morning?
Right. So over the past few years, based on our statistic, it has shown that property crime and directly stealing, different forms of stealing. So we have house breaking and stealing from a dwelling house, stealing from the person, even damage to property, pre-deal larceny. Yes, those are the major reported serious crime. All right, and it is the most sort of a difficult crime to solve, even though we have a high detection rate, because majority of the time someone reports a house break-in, some sort of a stealing. You as a police, you may ask, do you have a suspect? And they will say, officer, no, I don't know who entered my house, who stole this from my yard. And majority of the time, you as a police, you have to start from scratch, and you have to develop suspect, pick up persons, question them, person who is known to be involved in those type of crime. And obviously, you need evidence, and
sometimes it's minimal to go with.
Sometimes it's minimal to go with.
Yeah.
So that's why it's a bit higher, and it's a bit, we have a sort of a challenge in detection rate. I mean, the detection rate is high, but we would like to get it
even higher.
Even higher
than where it is right now.
Because we have other serious crime that is reported, the harm offenses. We basically in the 90s, when it comes to the detection solving rate, right? Because majority of the time, someone comes to the station, officer Tom Jones, plans me with a cutlass. You know who Tom Jones is.
Exactly.
So it's just the police carry out the procedure and pick up and look for Tom Jones, and he's charged and brought to court.
So these particular crimes are most times always solvable. The offensive crime where someone commits an offense against each other, most of these crimes could be solved.
Yes. Right? And they are solved. Yes.
All right. And then the most troubling one, as you said, is the stealing and so forth, because it's always after the fact you will get information that leading up to whoever. So most times someone will never know who came in. It's been in the instance of pre-deal larceny. You can never know who come and steal your produce unless you may have some surveillance equipment or something that picked up on video. Or you can say, well, I lost whatever I lost.
Right.
Folks losing stuff within their homes.
Yes.
After someone have broken, they may never know who.
Yes.
Sometimes everybody gets, a bit, sophisticated these days in terms of what they do.
Yes.
You understand? I don't know if it's the TV we watching too much. So it's telling us too much things what to do.
University or YouTube.
Criminals now are making sure that they do things where they become undetected. Wearing the gloves and everything when they go to steal, so fingerprints and stuff are not there anymore, except someone who is just maybe have other mental challenges may do that. You may come across these person, but folks who don't have these challenges about themselves know what they're going to do, so they're protecting themselves, even though they know what the particular crime they're going to commit.
And GT, the good thing about the property crime is in a lot of instances.
When you say a good thing about it, what do you mean?
When I say a good thing, I mean a lot of the instances is preventable.
Yes. Okay. Right? Under those circumstances.
That's why the majority of the times we come in and we give tips as to how persons should harden. We call it target hardening.
Yes.
Make the home, business places, and even themselves be less prone to having those kind of crime be committed against them. The sergeant will give you a few of those tips.
Okay. We go into the tips shortly, because another subject matter that I wanted to get into a wee bit in terms of these crimes. What is the RGF plans, especially crimes of those nature? Conversation like this works. When you come and you talk to citizens, in terms of ways they can protect themselves and their property and so forth. What are some of the plans of the RGPF to get a downward curve on these incidents that are taking place?
Yes, so that's a good question. So the RGPF's main strategic pillar or plan would have to deal with a community-based, community-focused policing approach, whereby we involve ourselves in the community. We do the community patrols, which build the confidence of the citizenry. All right, when they see the officers out there, they get to become familiar with the various faces, and build a relationship or a bond or a familiarity. Also, we involve ourselves in the schools and so forth, so that we can try to change the mindset of some of the younger persons coming up. So at least they would change some of their, trajectory as to where they end up, if they're along the lines of maybe going to the blocks or so forth. Then we have, once the police comes into the school with the, let's say, school club programs and so forth, you may tend to see a change in our shift of mindset, right? So the community-focused policing approach is now, our main pillar, all right? And also involving ourselves in the community would encourage persons to come forward with information, because the police definitely needs the community to solve many of the stealings, many of the crimes. All right. If the community doesn't report something, the police wouldn't know about it. And also, if persons, refuse to give certain information, then you would find that, maybe our solving rate might be low and so on and so forth. All right. But with the community, definitely we're gonna see some improvement. If I may touch on, what the theories talk about, the crime prevention triangle in terms of, crime. Theorists would say that the public at large, the policymakers, the law enforcement, and the other criminal justice agencies make up a triangle, to help solve and reduce crime within any country or state or so forth. All right. Apart from the community approach, that's more or less on the softer side. We have the harder side, whereby we do the or house search operations or block search operations. Of course, you would see many videos circulating where the police, the RRU, is now, regularly searching guys, for maybe possession of weapons, based on suspicion, or drugs, or whatever the case might be. And this all also helps in reducing some of those crimes. Okay, so this more or less on how to approach it.
All right. I want to ask you a question as you went along that particular directive. How effective has this been, especially the community visits? I've seen videos and pictures from time to time of the especially community relations departments going into various communities. How effective has that been? How's that relationship, that feedback that the RRU have been receiving when they visit these places? And you spoke of the RRU and so forth doing the block searches and so on. How effective has that been for the RGPF? Is it working, in layman's terms of saying it?
Well, I would say that it is very effective, because whenever we have these community engagement, lots of information is being derived, and we building that bond, that trust that persons could transmit that information relatives to crime, relative to other issues, because a lot of times certain things is being brought to our attention and it's not directly a crime or so, but the police, we could tap into other resources and inform the other social and government departments relative to solving issues within the community. And because of that trust that we developing with the public, we get to know more of what's happening in there, even sometimes not even being in there, because persons have that kind of rapport with the various officers in the stations. So it has been very, very fruitful thus far.
All right.
And it's something that in 2025 you can see the joy that the persons in the community, and you can see the officers' passion in those engagements.
All right. I mean, I look at those engagements sometimes, and I'm happy to see it, as you said. So my worry about the time factor, though. Some of the time of the day, I see the officers go into these communities. I would say that maybe the individual they meet to have that conversation with, they're probably at work. If they are at work, individuals may decide, well, I'm hanging around at the time, that particular time. You know, I'm not sure if I'm right about saying it in the manner in which I'm saying it, but sometimes I look at it, or I may passing and I'm seeing officers, engaging with certain individuals. But I'm saying the particular time factor sometimes is crucial. You know, if you understand where I'm coming from.
Yes, I do. Well, maybe that's when you pass and see, but I know for a fact that, the different policing stations, we stagger it. Yeah, we stagger it. Sometimes, we start like 5 in the evening and go up until like 7.
Okay.
Sometimes we go 9 o'clock in the morning with various times. So I can definitely, vouch that the different stations do it at different times. And we do weekly community policing, patrols and engagements and stuff.
All right. Okay, great.
Yes.
We do for a break. Let's take it. When we come back, I want us to get into the conversation of some of the statistics out there in terms of what you need from the RGPF. Let's take it after the break. Stay with us, folks. To the Point, Classic Radio, GBN TV. We come in right back.
Attention Grenadians, get ready for an exciting weekend of empowerment and inspiration under the theme Accelerating a Transformed NDC. Delegates, party members and special invitees will partake in the NDC Convention 2025 Sunday, March 2nd at the Happy Hill Secondary School. After the convention, everyone is invited to our sensational rally at the Bushes U playing field starting at 4 p.m. Be inspired by our distinguished guests. Hear from Prime Minister Roosevelt Skerritt of Dominica, Prime Minister Philip J. Pierre of St. Lucia, and our very own political leader and Prime Minister Dickon Mitchell, and more. Organize your transportation and walk with your flags, bandanas, drums, shells, whistles, and head down to Bushes U to be part of the transformation.
Cause I believe in the truth, and I just wanna live good.
Attention all track and field fans, the race is on and history is being made. On Saturday, March 1st, the Kirani James Athletic Stadium comes alive yet again for the Charlie George Classic. We honor a true stalwart of Grenadian athletics, Mr. Charles A.R. George, the longest serving president of the Grenada Athletics Association. Watch the best of the best go head to head in sprints, distance races, field events, and thrilling relays with top clubs like 473 MVP, Ace, Fusion Athletics, Velocity Track Club, St. David's Track Blazers, and more. The excitement kicks off at 10 a.m., so be there early. Witness the speed, the strength, and the passion of Grenada's finest athletes. This is more than a meet. It's a legacy in motion. The Charlie George Classic, Saturday, March 1st. Be there.
It's the anticipated moment of the season, going down on Friday at 8 p.m. The wait will soon be over. The ultimate soca champion will be revealed exclusively here on GBN. The energy is phenomenal. Gather your crew and the cooler and hit the GBN channel for the ultimate soca champion final. GBN Television, feel the energy.
Grenada National Folk Group, in collaboration with the Ministry of Tourism, Creative Economy and Culture, proudly presents Iconic Moves and Melodies. Yes, man! Iconic Moves and Melodies. A heartfelt tribute to the legendary Miss Shirley Robinson. Mark your calendar. Saturday, March 1st, 2025 at the Grenada Trade Center, starting at 5 p.m. Immerse yourself in an evening of vibrant folk songs, classical songs, Negro spirituals, patriotic songs, captivating poetry, and mesmerizing dance performances as we honor Miss Shirley Robinson, a true pioneer of Grenada's cultural heritage. You'll also get the chance to have a meet and greet with Miss Shirley Robinson. Tickets are just $50 for adults and $25 for children. Iconic Moves and Melodies, a celebration you don't want to miss. Join us Saturday, March 1st at the Grenada Trade Center. Let's honor the legacy, celebrate the culture, and make it a night to remember.
Welcome back once again, listeners. Welcome back, viewers, to The Point, Classic Radio, GBN TV. Good morning to those of you via our social media platforms, Facebook page, YouTube channels. Good morning, welcome, and thanks for being with us this morning. Once again, we have the Criminal Investigation Department with us this morning, and we're talking serious crimes and offences. Before the break, I did mention I want to get a wee bit in terms of the statistics over here. Would you say the statistics for 2024, only part of 2025? We could share those statistics with us this morning.
What we would say is that the stealing continues. Stealing, housebreaking, trespass, damage to property are among the highest property crimes in the country.
All around the world.
Last year we also, and even the year before that, had a number of the shootings and homicides and so forth. I believe we had 18 homicides last year. However, out of that, we could boast about the success rate in terms of the solution, the solving of those cases. Right, one or two of them remain unsolved. Firearms, we recovered a total of 61 firearms, illegal firearms. 9 of those were brought in during the amnesty period.
Yes.
Right. So this is what I would mention at the moment in terms of those.
In terms of statistics.
Yes.
When you say the statistic thus far, are you with our chief producer, are they happy with those statistics, or are we looking for something even better than that?
We would definitely strive to achieve better. However, if you look at the trend, you would see that sometimes it's high for 1 year and sometimes it's low for 1 year. For example, during the COVID period, you would have had a reduction in certain offenses. Yeah. After the COVID period, there was a spike and an increase. All right. So crime definitely fluctuates based on the status quo of the country, and it's something that we always strive to. As a police, to try to mitigate and see how we can control and make our citizens safe and happy and so forth.
All right. Let's talk a wee bit in terms of, I know there are probably citizens out there who are listening to this program this morning and would like to know some of the preventive tips that you would like to, of course, show to them this morning. Sure. Let's start it in terms of for homeowners.
Sure.
Let's start it off in that way. Some of the preventive tips that you would like to throw to them this morning.
Yes, sure. So most of the times when we do our business visits and our community visits, patrols and so forth, we would hand out, a little pamphlet. I brought one, it looks something like this. So we hand out our pamphlets. I'm just going to read a few of the tips that we have in this one here. So for housebreaking and prevention, one of the tips would be to leave lights on when leaving the house. Yeah. All right. Thieves usually avoid houses with the lights on. Outside doors and windows should not be left unlocked when you are sitting or walking in another part of your house, because a thief can easily enter without being noticed in another part, especially if you have a big home. Right? Valuables should not be left in rooms with open windows, even if you have like the rattan bars, because it can easily be fished out. All right. If you're leaving your house for some time, we would say get a neighbor or a friend to keep an eye on your house for you. Right, large sums of money should not be kept at home. Experienced thieves, for some reason, they know where to look. All right. Vehicles, cars should not be left locked with the windows down. And valuables, if you leave in your valuables in your vehicle, it should remain not remain within view.
Okay.
All right. Try to put it behind the seat or cover it down with something. All right. And lastly here for items which I have on the pamphlet here, place secret marks on valuable items. Yeah. Right. Or record the serial number of your electronics. This will help you to identify your belongings if they go missing in the long run. So in the back of your phone, you might take up the cover and you might put your initial, you might mark it with like a knife or something.
Okay.
the same for your laptop or your TV or whatever. A thief might not realize that there's a secret mark on the inside of your laptop which you open and you put a mark.
So true.
So at least if it's stolen and we recover it, you could know how to identify your stuff, because of course they might scratch out the serial number and so forth. I'm not sure if Corporal Antoine have a few.
Anything you want to expand on that a wee bit?
Yes. When it comes to personal tips for your personal safety, we advise that, especially when you're going to events, realize that's when a lot of incident happens. Especially for women, we advise that you go in the company of other persons.
Yes.
Right? If you get a ride with a vehicle, try to record that vehicle registration number. Or you could text a friend and let the friend know that I'm getting a ride with Tom Jones.
Yes.
Right? Handling of cash. Right? You shouldn't expose your money. Especially you're going to the bar, you might just take your wallet and you have a few $100 bill just flashing it.
Yeah.
It's almost like an advertisement. Right? So we
come take what I have.
Yes. Yes. So we advise against that. We also advise persons to, when you go into events and other, try to walk in areas that is well lit. And if it's possible, you have a flashlight.
Yes.
That is also advised, so that you can keep yourself safe.
Okay.
Because while Grenada is relatively safe and is known as one of the safest Caribbean islands, there's a lot we can do to ensure our safety. Right? So that's some of the tips.
I want to ask about this, just for mere conversation's sake. We talk about all of these tips that we throw to individuals from time to time, the do's and the don'ts, but then we still see a reoccurrence of these incidents occurring. Are you saying that individuals are not taking heed, especially victims, are not taking heed to these tips that have been thrown out? It's not the first time the criminal investigation, other departments within RHP have thrown out these tips and sharing this information.
Yes.
I think by now a majority of Grenada have heard about the do's and don'ts. Don't put your key under the mat and don't do this and do this. But we still see it occur because we continue to do it. Are you saying that folks are not taking taking heed to these particular tips that are going to, that we see a recurrence of these particular crime happening to individuals?
Yes, of course. A lot of the times, persons are just laid back, and when you do your investigation, you realize someone say they left the window with the wire mesh in it. A wire mesh cannot secure. A wire mesh is mere to keep out maybe insect from entering your house. Person still leaving keys below mat. Going and sleep with the door open, leaving keys in the vehicle, leaving the vehicle idling, leaving their wallets on the seat in the vehicles. Persons are still doing most of the stuff that we're speaking about. And that's why I said earlier on, the good thing about property crime is a lot of the time, if we take heed to what is being told to us by the police and other agency, it will lessen on a person being a victim of those crimes. Because we have what we call the opportunity. Right? When we do the crime triangle, you'd speak about ability, opportunity, and a person. So majority of the time we could control the person from giving them that
making that opportunity, presenting that opportunity
to them.
So just to add a little bit on the crime triangle, so what the theorist is saying is that you have the offender, the opportunity, and the victim. It makes up a triangle.
Right.
So the victim, the offender, the opportunity. If you break one,
yes,
then for the crime to occur,
you must have all three.
You have to have all three.
And I think the opportunity is the most prevalent one there. If you don't present that opportunity for someone to do something, it's very unlikely that it will occur.
Right.
More or less.
Yes. Right. But I mean, it just comes like like children.
Yeah.
You have to always speak and remind, because if you tell a young person, okay, don't go to the block, don't, let's say, smoke, don't try to drink, curiosity might try it still.
Yeah.
So this is the reason why the RGPF has to always come and remind persons. But we really want to encourage persons to follow some of these tips, because when you really investigate these matters, you'll see a lot of the times is people just being careless. If you never had the experience, you wouldn't take heed. Is until something happens.
You always say, well, that ain't going to happen to me. You just never know, right?
No, it's reality. People, we have people out there that are breaking into houses.
Yeah.
They're putting on their mask, they're putting on their hoodie, and they're breaking into houses. They literally, if somebody break into your house and they meet you, they think about what's going to happen. Yeah. Just think about it, So it is a serious threat. It is happening. It is real. Some persons, may not believe it would happen to them, but it's until it happens. Then you might, decide, well, I need to take some of these tips or the CID saying the truth. I need to, do this, I need to do that.
I mean, sometimes you take all the prevention that you can. You try to eliminate all the opportunities for folks to do things, and then it still occurs. Because some folks just have the notion of wanting to do something. Yes. You understand? Some folks, for whatever reason or reasons, for their own mental way of life, they decide, I want to steal.
Yes.
You understand? And they look for all the opportunities available, even though you prevent. You do whatever you have to do in terms of house owners. They may put cameras and all of that, and someone's still going to come and do something.
I just want to mention on that point. Yes. So we still have to try.
Yeah.
Right? The theorists again talk about the 4 Ds of crime prevention: to detect, deter, deny, delay. Detect, deter, deny, delay. Right? So there are various things we can do. The security cameras, as you mentioned, very good, because they could, the criminals could be recognized in the video, even if they put on the gloves and the mask and the what have you, because the gloves and the mask and the what have you, these are not new,
Yes.
They've been there from ever since. If you talk about Robin Hood and they go back into the history, you would see that these things have been there from time immemorial, But it's just, being done at different levels now.
Yeah.
What persons can be recognized by maybe the way they walk. They can be traced if everybody in the neighborhood has a camera. If every single house has a camera, you could trace a suspect from the time they leave their own house to the time,
Because sometimes they will only prepare themselves on where they were going to whatever that
at some stage you go let the guard down.
Yes.
And it is a lot of work when we have to investigate and check people, not everybody has the cameras and so forth. But there are many things we can do, and we have to continue to try. We cannot let our guard down. We cannot afford to give up, so to speak. We have to continue to try.
All right. We're due for a break once again. Let's take it. And when we come back, I want us to talk a wee bit about some of the success stories from the RGPF that I have for the years thus far, and how happy are you to have gained those success stories, and how has it been for has it raised the morale of officers and so forth, able to get those success stories in terms of crime individuals who may have been apprehended for crimes.
Yes.
Let's take a break once again. We're coming right back. Stay with us, folks. I see the phones are going. We're also going to accept your calls. Also coming up in the next segment. Stay with us. Don't touch it out.
Choice Promotions in association with Investment Migration Agency of Grenada, together with our Riser Credit Union, presents the inaugural Virgin Parish Relay Meet. This is the real mini Olympics, Saturday, March 8th. Lassa Just Playing Field in St. David. Relay action featuring the top clubs and schools from across Grenada, competing for cash prizes and more. Come see the nation's best athletes as they prepare for Intercall and Carifta Games 2025. First call to action is at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, featuring live entertainment and excitement in the tug-of-war competition. Admission $10 adults, $5 children. Come to Virgin Parish, St. David on Saturday, March 8th for the Virgin Parish Relay Meet. Come share in the excitement and speed and see you there.
Grenada is indeed beautiful and worth exploring. We firmly believe that you should be allowed to do so. Why not explore Grenada with James Services Corp Off-Road Tours? Whether you decide to explore Grenada with your family, spouse, or large group of friends, we are ready to welcome you. Our tours are guaranteed to leave you with wonderful memories of Grenada if you are visiting, and excitement if you live here. Book a tour with us now by visiting our website www.j JamesSVCS.com. Call 1473-442-3769 or email info@JamesSVCS.com. James Services Corp. Off-Road Tours.
I am Dennis James Williams, owner and director of James Services Corp. Looking forward to welcoming you to the beautiful island of Union to explore with James Services Corp. Off-Road Tours. See you soon.
Explore our beautiful island of Grenada from an angle that is unique and off-road, but equally fun. We are 100% family-friendly tours.
Welcome back once again, listeners. Welcome back to our viewers. It's To The Point here on Classic Radio GBN TV. It's To The Point. It's moving up to 20 minutes before the top of the hour. I did mention to our listeners and viewers, if you do have a question or two you may like to ask the officers, feel free to do so in this segment also. I did mention I want us to talk a wee bit about some of the success that, especially for 2024, yes, that the RGPF, in terms of some of the major, crimes that may have occurred. And the success in terms of having these solved. First and foremost, if you have the question, what are some of the main reasons why we are having that level of success in terms of crime in Grenada?
Yeah. Well, one of the reasons is the police. We're not sitting back. We're very proactive. We've been doing a number of operations. You can see us from time to time. One could remember that visual of officers in Montridge only earlier in this year, where you would have seen, according to one person, hundreds of police officers on the ground.
Yeah,
and that simply means that we are not going to sit by and accept a rise in crime without doing anything. So the level of proactiveness from the RGPF, that is on the front burner. And then it comes back down to the community, the rapport that we have been developing with the community through our walkthroughs and through our engagement and even the business engagement. We are yielding a lot of success in that. A lot of information that is there that we were not harnessing before. We're finally we're tapping into that. And then the use of our technology, a lot of it that we wouldn't want to give out. That is aiding us in fighting those various crimes. That is why we at where we at. But I'm always saying that the country could rest assured, the citizens could rest assured that we're not sitting on our laurel and letting crime take over.
I just want to add also that a major part of the success is our dedicated staff, our dedicated men and women,
officers,
our dedicated officers who, persons don't realize the sacrifices that the police make, right? Imagine, the police have to secure for Carnival. We can't play Carnival. We have to secure for Christmas. We have to secure for Easter. We make a lot of sacrifices. We don't get time to spend with our, families or, relatives. We don't get that kind of time. It's a very, very big sacrifice that we make. So our dedicated men and women who are out there in the fields, who sometimes have to spend the whole night to do a stakeout to get some success. All right, definitely that plays a big part, and also the management continue to support us,
obviously
motivate us, recommend us for promotions or awards and various things that they do to help keep us
kind of raise your moral,
raise our morals, and help us to stay true to the cause. Yeah,
all right,
exactly.
So let's see of success. What are one of those major success stories you of course, if it could be spoken about this morning that you maybe want to adhere to?
I think the number of weapons, the number of firearms that we were able to take off the street, the number of illegal firearms that we were able to take off the street, that I believe was a really successful year in fighting crime.
Yes.
Also, the detection and the resolving of majority of the murders.
Yes.
That was
Especially
committed.
those gun related.
Yes, exactly.
And that was that too was a success story.
Yes.
And then we see that there has been a relaunching of the school club. We call it the school club now.
Yes.
Because we have both boys and girls. And if you were looking at the Independence Parade, on our Independence Day, you would have seen the school club was represented, and we think that it all goes well, that we letting the kids know that even from primary school stage that we have their back and they're important, and we view them as the future. And all of those is what I believe is success story in the year 2024.
Yes.
And we're looking for more success story in 2025.
Yes.
And we're out there, we're upbeat, we're in the community, we're in the various businesses, and we're doing our operations, and we're taking an in-your-face approach in 2025.
Definitely.
We're not sitting back, and persons who intend and committing crime, just know this: the police, we're here and we're not going nowhere.
Definitely.
All right. I mean, it's happy to hear that, because, sometimes as citizens, we get the impression that maybe the police is lackadaisical for various reasons. Sometimes the petty things that we may want solved instantly is not always done in an appropriate time and so forth.
Right.
And I know there's always a concern for the RG. We wish we could solve everything, but the RG is unable to solve every crime out there or to assist everyone. If the manpower and so forth was available, I guess it would have been done. I mean, we are a small country.
Yes.
You understand? I'm assuming looking at it, in comparison to other countries, we have a pretty small police force.
Yes.
You understand? And I know the RG would wish they could have at least 300 or 400, of course, officers out on a daily basis in every parish.
Of course.
You know, so, and a number of police officers in every community. It will solve a number of the issues, especially with traffic problems. We could have we could have more officers on the road, on the roads, communities, and that would help to alleviate a lot of the problems that we have. But because of the size, it's totally unable. We do have a caller. Let's see what this caller wants to contribute this morning. Caller, you're live. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning to you.
Yes, I'd like to ask a question of your officer, please.
Go right ahead, please.
Okay. If you live by yourself and you hear somebody trying to break into your house, what action should you take?
All right, caller, thank you. Thank you so much. And I beg of, before the officer respond, when you're calling, please, listeners and viewers, please turn on the device or devices, whatever you have in the background, whether it's the radio or the television, and talk to us via the phone. After you're through making your contribution, then it's you could always turn it back up. All right? Respond to the caller.
Well, yes. Immediately, what I would say now, okay, let's say if it is a small house you have, let's say in reality, let's say you have a wooden structure dwelling house. Mm-hmm. Someone is trying to enter, you have current in your house and you have lights. The first thing to do, you put on your lights. You try to prevent them from coming in. All right. You have your phone, you try to get onto your phone, call 911 immediately so we could at least make a report. Receive a report and have officers to respond on them. But immediately I would say, try to put on the lights and try to get them scared away so they could leave your premises.
Okay.
Right. Immediate response.
Yes, putting on the light will obviously let that person know that there is someone in the house and the person is up and they're going to see them.
All right.
Yeah, usually in a case like that, you put on the light, it would scare them away because I think they already want to reveal the identity. You know, they don't just see the light on and still come in and force yourself in like that. We will have this kind of situations here in Grenada.
So true. So true. We do have another caller. Caller, you're live. Good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning to you.
I want to ask the officer this question. Officer, when if a civilian abuse a police officer or a security officer, these two of you all have rights, or they could first charge against the person that abused all you, or get a lawyer to represent all you in court. And the next one, why every time you are police abuse a civilian, you see it on TV, you see it on social media, why when a police get abused or a security get abused, you don't see no picture of what going on, because I see security guard and police get abused from civilian, and at that time I see nobody with no camera taking out a picture. I want to know if all you pass a ladder, they shouldn't take out no picture when all you getting all you abused, or the bar you from getting Mr. Jerry Seal to represent all you in court when all you get all you abused. Thank you.
Thank you, caller. Thank you so much.
I think that's a question for you to answer. So you can go ahead and answer the question.
You can go ahead.
Right? Yeah, but that's a very good point, because, okay, for example, one of our officers, if I may, was recently involved in an incident and they received an injury, all right, from responding to a report. And there is nothing that, no coverage to at least mention anything like that to say, okay, officer was involved in an incident and, try to, tell the public, look, it shouldn't be whatever, quote-unquote abusing officers or trying to assault officers. Definitely, the police has the authority to arrest, all right? If you assault a police officer, definitely that is a breach of the Police Act. We could charge you for that, and other offenses. All right, but that's a very good point that you have there.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Let's take another caller. Caller, you're live. Good morning.
Good morning, GT, and good morning to the officers.
Good morning to you.
I was amazed last Sunday to see the turnout, the tremendous turnout of the young ladies in the rainbows, the Girls Guide parade in the streets of Grenville. I remember we had the Police Boys Club, and what a difference it makes in the lives of the young men. And I think this is one way we can help them and avoid them falling through the cracks. So I'll be grateful. I think it is, I'll be grateful if you can, reorganize the boys' clubs and work with the scouts so our young men can have a meaningful contribution to make. And from there, I know the police will assist with the discipline, and so we will have a wider range to choose from to get into the police force. Thank you. Have a great day.
Thank you, caller. Thank you so much for your contribution this morning.
Yes, and as I said earlier on, the police were embarking on relaunching the school club. As I said, we call it the school club now, no longer the boys club, because we believe that both boys and girls who may have discipline, they might have issue with being disciplined, we can step in and help correct that. So it's now called the school club, and we have active school club. We have St. Paul's Government School, we have the South St. George, the Calice, I believe some of the primary school in Guelph.
Okay.
I do know that there is liaison officers who play similar role in the schools in St. Patrick and other areas.
I'm seeing someone asking a question here about calling for the police club to recommence in St. Patrick, but you say it's taking place already?
Yes, there is a liaison officer.
Okay, trying to get
and based on the information, I know that will be forthcoming.
Okay, great. Right. We do have another caller. Caller, your life. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning, GT, and morning to the police officer.
Morning to you.
Yeah, well, we're in modern times, so I kind of welcome the more police presence around in village and what. But in my area growing up in the 50s and 60s, we used to have something called that we freed the police. But it's not freed the police. We respect the police so much that it's like it is a fear. If you say this is a policeman and he in plain clothes, well, you get real timid. You try to calm down. You behave at your best. And then if you see a policeman in a uniform, you bow or you respect him more, or you give him the right side or you take the left side, and you go on peaceful. Nowadays, the younger folks now, once they see a police, like a police in a uniform, it's like he becomes a target. So I think what is really needed is enforcing the law, carrying out the law. That's one of the things that's going to help. And then, so Eric days, they used to have a thing called the CAT, the 9, where you give them, if it's 3 or 6 strokes. And to do some certain things, they have to do community service. Don't lock them up. They have to do community service. And then what I think we should be doing now in all the towns around Grenada now, I think that the law should start implementing, putting cameras in certain places. And then also, I don't know in your area, if we know that in our area, a lot of people think like this thing what they have, they call the traffic wardens. There's nothing new on the sun. We had that in the 50s and the 60s. We used to call them GBC or GVC. I don't know if people can remember them. They used to be in short khaki pants, khaki shirt. They have a boot too, and the brown socks and the shoes. And all policemen, they're well equipped now, but all policemen used to have a whistle. So if there's something in town and the police need a help, once you hear this whistle blowing, you know that the police need assistance. Thank you, Jerry.
Thank you so much, and great contribution there. Brought back some bit of memories there in terms of the good old days, huh? Yeah,
definitely.
Police still have whistle, and the whistle still means the same thing, as much as I could say.
Let's take another call. Caller your life. Good morning and welcome.
GT, good morning and good morning to your guests.
Good morning to you.
All right. First of all, I want to congratulate the RGPF on their ability and to solve crime in Grenada. I have a question here, sir. The both questions is the same. Now, if I'm in my house and somebody is breaking into my house, or if, for example, I have my melon farm and I meet thieves harvesting the melons that is mature and chopping up those that is not mature. Now, in both scenarios, if I was to divide the individual in half, what is a logical explanation that I can give to the police that can say that they will say, well, listen, this person deserves what they get, and they will have to work things in a certain way so the gentleman who divide the individual into can go free. Thank you.
Thank you, caller. Thank you so much. I'm not sure if the officers could be able to respond to the caller in terms of his contribution.
Basically,
firstly, I understand how he might be feeling, right? Because going in the garden and work is not no easy task.
Yes.
You're talking about people getting up 2 and 3 in the morning to go in the land, and you're waiting for months to get a harvest, and then a guy just come out and nowhere, and then he reaping the harvest for you. It's not an easy thing. I could understand your frustration, sir. All right. However, still, it might take a lot out of you, a lot of tolerance to try to do the right thing. That is what we would try to encourage, because if you take the law into your own hands, you will be charged.
And it's not in a case where it's justified.
Of course.
Yeah. Yes. Because you must use, whenever force is being used even by the police,
even in self-defense
even in self-defense cases, it must be justifiable. Right?
Yeah.
In instances like that, we always encourage and advise person to try to get law enforcement involved as soon as.
Yes.
Right? You might want to stay, and because sometimes you know the persons who are doing it.
Yes.
And the act is already committed.
Yes.
The melons are already cut in two, and you know it's Tom Jones. Yes. You call the officer and say, "Hey, look what I have just seen."
Yeah.
And I'm very sure, and I'm very sure that this would be dealt with by the police.
Yes. I just wanted to add that under the criminal code, under Title 7 of the criminal code, if you want to check that out, talks about justifiable force and harm.
Yes.
Now, the harm could be up to a certain level, even up to killing somebody. It's there in the law. If certain offenses are being committed, and the law gives the offenses. For example, during a rape, during a house breaking or robbery, if you try to defend yourself and the person loses their life, then the law makes provision for those. But as we said, as Corporal Antoine is saying, it has to be justified. All right, so maybe you want to check out Title 7 of the Criminal Code and just so identify yourself.
Okay, we do have another caller. Caller, you're live. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning to you, bro, and good morning to the officers. And just to piggyback on what the officer just said, there's a question I want to ask after. But last night I was having a conversation with a friend of mine, and he said that somebody came in his yard and thief his goat. He said when he was allotted the person drive out, he jumped in his vehicle and he followed the vehicle. All the way to Coco, all over the place, he followed the vehicle. He called the police, I guess from Grenville, and they are aware of the vehicle, they are aware of the people that stole his goat. And yet, up to now, arrest hasn't been taking place, as he said to me, and he's still waiting to see some action from the police. So the question I have for you is that, when you promote an officer, or officers, do they have people go into that station and check and see the rate of case solving, so the individuals can know, well, this officer is working, this one is not working? Because people out here, you're saying that in your mouth. You might be working hard, but there is officers and then there's stations where people have serious complaints that nothing is taking place. So this individual give us all the information that the person that stole his animal, the names of the people, the vehicle they had, and up to now, nothing taking place yet. Have a nice day, sir.
Thank you, caller. Thank you so much.
Yes. What I do know is that we do respond to all of our reports. I'm not sure of the circumstances of that particular incident. Maybe a follow-up can be done. I would encourage you to ask the complainants to reach out to the station, maybe to speak to an inspector in charge of the station, and so that some sort of follow-up could be done. The second part of the question, you're speaking about performance appraisals. Yes, we do performance appraisals on a quarterly and annual basis, so we do know the performance of our officers and those who are performing and those who are not, and we try to manage that from the side.
For time purposes, we may be able to entertain maybe one or two more callers come really quickly. Call from via WhatsApp. Good morning, you're live.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning. Go right ahead, please, caller.
Yes, I don't know if the officer will be able to answer that question. When they reinstall the traffic lights, there were cameras installed and a few persons got charged in the beginning. Now we've seen men just running through traffic lights. Are the camera functional? Are they having any problem? I don't know if you could answer that question.
All right, caller, thank you.
Yes, sir. We're not in a position to answer that question. We'll have to do some follow-up. And maybe the relevant authority listening, they could add some clarity to your question.
Not within your department.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Of course.
Let's take our final call and then we get some closing conclusion. Caller, you're live. Good morning.
My caller, yes, I'm talking about the police. We didn't have the law, not we had no one in the world today. Police are lifesavers and protectors. And people don't listen to them. When the police talk to them, they insult them and they do what they want. Now, if we didn't have the law, what would have happened to the world today? Everybody would have gone. God put the law not to save life, to protect. They risk their lives for our lives. So we must show them much respect because they are the lifesaver. And hadn't been the law in the world today, there would be no world. That's why we have the law, so we have to talk to them. When they call the police call come, hey, 911, what happened? Something happened, the police come to save you, they're risking their life for your life. The drivers driving, you tell them don't speed. Speeding causes accident and death. That's what caused all the accident, the death, the speeding, and the overtaking. So they have to drive safely, save their lives by knocking someone down and just leaving them there to die. It's not good enough. They're doing too much now, so they'll have to be respected because they are lifesavers. And that's
all right, Auntie. Thank you a whole lot. Have a good morning.
Yeah, to save life.
Okay, and that's where our final caller for the morning. Officers, any closing remarks before we take a wrap for today?
Yes, thank you. So first of all, I just want to thank the management executive of the RGPF and also of CID for allowing us the opportunity to come here this morning and share some of our tips and so forth. Secondly, I would say that to the public, we want to thank you also for your contributions and coming forward with information, those of you who have done so, and the persons who also assist us with dealing with situations outside there when we are not there. I just want to remind some persons who might have a negative outlook towards the police that, listen, the police officers, some of us, we are fathers, we are husbands, we are sons, we are brothers, you know, we are human beings just as well, all right? And the sacrifices that our officers are making outside there, you know, it's a lot of sacrifices to keep you safe. Most of the times when you sleeping in your bed, we outside there, you know, trying to keep you safe and keep Grenada safe, all right? So to the persons who might be, for example, on the blocks and so forth, if they're listening at all, when the officers come to do their job, yes, of course, some of us might have, you know, personality differences and so forth. Everybody can be the same. We would encourage you, please, let the officer do their work. They come to search, whatever, you allow them to do what they have to do. If you're committing an offense and you're arrested, you can't vex, all right, because we're doing our work, all right? This is what we mandated to do. We take an oath to do, all right? And this is what we're going to do. As Corporal Antoine would have stated earlier, you know, we're going to be in your face for 2025, and we're going to be out there trying to continue to keep Grenada safe. And on that note, I just want to say thank you for having us here once again.
Okay. Corporal Antoine, anything in closing?
Yes, in closing, I would say crime is like tourism. Crime is everybody's business. And why I say that, at any point in time, any of the offense highlighted, you could be a victim of. So whatever information or whatever you could do to prevent and to avoid, we're asking for your support, for any information, and we're asking you to sometimes be a little patient with the police. We're trying to get around to all report and to everything that we need to do, but it's only time. We need time before we could sort out everybody. Right. But it's our intention to sort out everybody.
All right. Officers, I want to thank you once again for coming on the program this morning, sharing the necessary information. It was definitely fruitful information. I certainly hope the listening and viewing public, of course, take it to heart and make use of the tips that were presented this morning. Yes. And certainly hope we could make a difference in their life. Or maybe there's someone who's listening this morning, maybe have some weird thoughts in their mind of wanting to commit a crime. Yes. And they start thinking different and make life easier for themselves and everyone else. Yes. Thank you both once again, and best wishes for the day. Right. Hey, folks, that's where we're going to take a wrap for this edition of To The Point. Join me again tomorrow for another edition. Have yourself a good one. That's where we say goodbye.